Public Press is a startup organization. We've only been around for about a year actively producing news about San Francisco, but we're rapidly growing, mostly with a volunteer base of about 50 people locally, mostly journalists, to look at some undercovered topics in the city, talk with underserved communities, and really try to redefine what news is, and increase the attention to public policy issues that may get short shrift by the downsized commercial press. There are a lot of distressing polls out there saying that kids in high school don't even appreciate what the First Amendment means to them and the value of public information. It's going to take a lot of work by journalists to kind of recenter on why they got into the profession in the first place. Most journalists I know got into it because of the social mission to create a better world by informing the public, and really that comes from a very deep appreciation of our democratic society and our democratic process, and the idea that if you share information and shine light on complex problems and perhaps things that are going wrong, that will actually improve things, because we'll be better able as a society and as a community to deal with those problems. I think my vision for the future is both positive and negative. I think there's going to be, I still think we're in line for a lot of disruption in the existing news organizations and institutions that have been built up for generations. I'm hoping that we can minimize that, but also salvage some of the best practices and some of the institutional knowledge that has been accumulated through the practice of journalism, while creating new institutions to nurture that good work. So I see a lot of promise in the public media sector and a lot of possibility for philanthropy and possibly public funding to re-energize the work that's already being done out there, but is falling on hard times because the private commercial advertising-based model is disintegrating.
There's twofold strategy, right? Like, the first is to hold the media accountable for what their representations, and in our case, representations of disenfranchised populations. So I think that's the first kind of strategy, and specifically the strategy that I think Feministing does the most effectively, which is to counteract mainstream representations of women of color, other disenfranchised kind of at-risk populations. And then the second is to campaign big media for actual change, right? And that happens through different kinds of campaigns, whether it be supporting broadband or whether it be fighting media ownership and those kind of things. So I think it's a two-prong effect, and I think now is a really key time to build awareness around this issue, because people are feeling extremely disenfranchised from mainstream media. They're frustrated with representations, they're frustrated with the way that stories are covered. Building awareness and educating the public on exactly like representation issues. What is possible? Can you place an op-ed? How do you talk to a reporter? How do you kind of like these like really basic media skills? I think that's a starting point. And then the second is, for groups to partner with each other to support different types of legislation and to really build an echo chamber and actually push the idea of media as something to be active around. My vision for the future of the media. I run everything. No, I'm just kidding. I think ideally increased journalist accountability, increased, diverse ownership of media. I think that media is a fundamental human right, and it should be guaranteed to us if we live in supposedly a democracy. So my hope for the future is less privatized media, is more community-owned media, and is more kind of people-produced media.